Okay. Okay, folks. Trying to record this while I'm driving home, and it's been a while since I made any updates. Lots happened since I, last recorded anything, and I'm trying to record this in a manner to almost I don't even know why I'm necessarily feeling like this per se, but keep certain things out of camera shot because I'm wearing this company jacket, and since I talk about a lot of things like Nofap, for instance, on this channel, and it's weird in a sense because it's not like I'm not really getting into gritty, gruesome, NSFW, details or topics. I definitely stay out of that kind of stuff. I don't, it's kind of I don't want to put triggering stuff out there that for folks who are really struggling with PMO, they might, relapse from hearing a certain subject get brought up or what have you. But, anyways, keeping my eye on the road as much as possible, obviously, because I don't want to get into a crash or get pulled over and that sort of thing. But so technically speaking, long story short, now that I've used up about a minute and a half just rambling there, I am technically speaking past day 300. It's a huge milestone for me, but it hasn't been without its share of rough patches or slip ups. I did have a major slip up back in March, which oddly enough at this point I think it's about 2 months from that point. Essentially, and this is the reason why I don't count it as a relapse. I was kind of half conscious. I did engage in the use of P-subs, if you know that technical term. Basically, it's like a substitute for pornography. It's not strictly pornography, but it's it's questionable material. It's stuff and I'm not suggesting anybody looking these things up, but it's the kind of stuff that will slip by. The sort of the not the censors, but sort of the filtering crew. Let's just say some of these social media websites or so, where they can kind of say, oh, this is not pornography, but it's kind of they'll lift the audio track from some pornographic film or so, and they'll mix it with music and that sort of thing. Essentially, listening to that and rolling around, jousting around in a prone position in my bed, and basically it led to things going all the way in that sense. But I was sort of in this in between state, mindset wise. I wasn't fully awake. I was kind of trying to do the whole, I'll put this on, I'll try and fall asleep to it, and I was kind of in that sort of cheating state of mind, and it was a huge problem. I've gotten to the point during this Nofap stuff basically where I can kind of tell the difference between what I would consider a relapse to versus a close call or a slip up, because it didn't completely knock me out. It didn't tell myself, oh, screw it, I'm gonna go and get on some sites and look up stuff and all that kind of thing. I didn't go and do that. There were a tough 2 or 3 days afterwards, because whenever any of this kind of stuff happens, even if it's just a quote unquote minor slip up or a major slip up, definitely if it's a relapse, it's almost I want to just lock myself in my room and not go out and interact with the rest of the world. And if I do go out and interact with people, I get increasingly major anxiety, and it'll affect me to the extent that I won't get as much work done. I'll just kind of want to be spending time, a significant amount of time away from people, that sort of thing. And you really can't be doing that at work, especially when it's shift work. So yeah, that happened about 2 months ago, roughly speaking. It was right after I had this interview for this position I was going for, which I didn't get. But I think factors that led me into that state where it was, like a near relapse or a major slip up. It was a combination of factors. The factors. I think the biggest ones were, there was boredom, there was a lot of stress and anxiety, and then I say like bad stress, because it was like sort of like stress in the sense, partially in the sense of like, oh, what if I get the position? Sort of a deal. Or I get waitlisted for something, in the future, some such thing as that. And there was honestly this whole like losing track of days, because I hadn't gotten a new calendar for the year, and it was just like, I kind of figured, oh, I'm at day 200 something, that sort of deal, but like I wasn't like looking at it, day by day and sort of feeling like I was building up to anything, and it was like, one day was the same as the next, and when you're in that kind of state of mind where, your days don't really have meaning or value or, like a point to them, where it's like, okay, this, day X of whatever, diet or Nofap, or, it's like, oh, 2 weeks until the exam or something of that nature. Like, any given day can just be like, blasé and meaningless and pointless and, purposeless, to the extent that, if you're trying to build success on something like Nofap, like where, I mean, there's a reason why, it's like, oh, Nofap, 90 days or 180 or, a year of Nofap or so. Like, you're trying to break a habit, you're trying to rack up enough time free of the habit that you're kind of, you create a new pathways, both metaphorically and literally, for yourself in your life, neural pathways, and just a whole new sort of way of life and a routine, and a mindset and lifestyle, and that sort of thing. And when you lose track of those days, like, it's one of the reasons why, or one of the factors why, you can end up either having a near relapse, a major slip up, a full blown, textbook definition relapse, binging, all that kind of stuff, where you can get up in that, get into that state of mind. And those are some of the factors. Around that time, I think it was within a month or so at that time, I did ask this girl out at work. It's this classic sort of thing of like, and so far it hasn't gone south, because and I know in many ways I was kind of repeating mistake of mine. I'm kind of rattling things off here, trying to update what's going on in the space of like 2 months or so, or 3 months since I last did an update. But I did ask this girl out. I think I honestly did it just to sort of get things out of my system, because it was kind of like getting into that sort of state. I was getting into that sort of state of mind, like I did in the other situation that happened, close to a year ago, a little over a year ago. Or the situation I was in college, where it was a matter of like, if I just asked the girl out and then taken the results and just, been chill about it or so, or, assuming that, the other end, that the girl was the psycho, that sort of thing, like, that I could have just gotten over it and whatnot. And it was like, things were getting to the point where, and it was, it was quite clear that, when I did ask her out and she said no, and I kind of looked back at some of the conversations we had, that so much stuff with this girl was like her just trying to get attention, and she was literally trying to play me off against this other guy who I was, great friends with, and I had talked to him about it, and, made sure that nothing escalated there, and, that he understood what was going on, and I knew. And, my only mistake was that I asked her out via this, like, electronic application on her phone that we, like, we all used to sort of communicate with each other. But, I quickly de-escalated things, on my end. And it's been, like, I had to go back and look through the archives of messages, like how long it's been, but it's been at least a month and a half since that happened, and like, nothing has occurred. And on my end, like, I've lost any sort of attraction I might have had for her for any number of reasons. And it's not even like, there's no anger or frustration there. There's like indifference, and I kind of wish, like with so many times in life, that it could have kind of been like that for me, or it could have been like that, just, I asked her out, she said no, whatever, moving on sort of thing, and not like dwelling on it and going, oh, like, was it what I said, was it this, was it that, just asking a girl and leaving it at that, not having it, blow up into something big, because, in this case, like, learning from my last experience in a workplace environment, I mean, if you're going to ask a girl out, it's like, okay, if she says no, you drop it at that point, like, you had your shot, you took your shot, she said no, maybe you weren't really truly, like, attracted to her or something else, whatever, maybe you're just lonely, maybe you're just bored, whatever, but, as long as you leave it at that and you don't make any sort of, you're not like being desperate, you're not being creepy, you're not like still hitting her up, you're not still trying to sort of force things to happen, that sort of thing, you're making her uncomfortable essentially. Because all I did was I asked her out to get some like boba, which, it's a type of tea, like a milk tea. And she said no, and that was that. There's two things that have, happened in the last like few months. Man, it's been a while since I updated, so like it's almost like I'm trying to cram a whole lot of things into this video. I don't know if I've mentioned this, in the last videos. Again, it's been a while, but there was a huge blow up with my family. My sister and I kind of got into sort of a verbal spat, to put it lightly, and I say kind of, I mean totally. And she kind of got into, into my dad's face, and went kind of back and forth there, and since then, like, things have kind of chilled out, and I sense my sister taking a different approach, and my mom taking a different approach to a lot of things, and I'm trying to do things on my end to sort of change the dynamics in the family, so there's not really this sort of like massive build up to some serious conflict and yelling and whatnot, because I think at this point all of us in my family are just like we're tired, we're worn out, we're beat down, we're demoralized, and I could say that honestly, like, some of the things I did say, and I can probably make a video about it if I really feel like it, but I admit in that situation I was possibly a bit too harsh, to put it lightly, but it was a case of like boundaries being pushed and crossed, and middle of the night someone's looking for a fight, so to speak, and it was like I kind of put my foot down, was like, I'm not effing doing this, again, this is not, I'm not doing that, not playing that game, that sort of thing. And my dad, he took the same sort of, stance, that sort of deal. And it was a case where, like, it was like 2 or 3 times in a row, like, I was already on the road, driving back to, my place up north, just going, screw this, I'm not staying for this. And my dad had to call me back, and basically, like, he asked me my side of what had happened, and, that sort of thing. And, ironically enough, like, he didn't go and just, like, take her side and, default defend her and that sort of thing. I think he's starting to really understand, if he doesn't already understand, like, a lot of the stuff going on, and like, ever since the stroke last year, my mom and my sister have basically been forced to reevaluate a lot of things, and start changing their ways, really. And again, I sense that my sister is trying to now change her ways, and I'm gonna try and give her something of a chance. Basically, I'm not gonna go like, oh, just let down everything and just whatever. But I'm gonna try and give her a chance to see okay, she really turning the corner and changing and really trying to wrap her mind around a lot of things. Because one point I'd made to my dad was that when it comes to a lot of this stuff, and it goes for both my mom and my sister, it's like they've honestly got to make the effort to try to like be less solipsistic, less self-absorbed, to try to understand what it's like for somebody else going through whatever they're going through. Like, for instance, the job I currently have, it's like 12 hours, a day for the shifts I have to be there, plus an hour and a half to 2 hours of commuting. And if I'm doing, overtime, I mean, it can go up to like 80 plus hours, and so it's kind of like, okay, trying to understand that maybe I'm extremely exhausted at the end of the day. Maybe if I'm driving down to where they're at, it takes me 8 or 9 hours, maybe I'm exhausted, maybe, that's what I'm going through, or maybe there's a lot of stress at work, maybe there's this, that, and the other, maybe blah, blah, trying to get them to sort of make the effort to try and comprehend what my life is like, or what life is like for him, and then sort of adjusting their behavior and their attitudes and so on, and the language they use and such accordingly, not because we need to be pandered to, but basically to be more considerate, and how that would actually like lead to better results, because a lot of times the callousness and the vile language and such, a lot of it from multiple sides. I mean, I'm not 100% clear of this, but a lot of it comes from a sort of a perspective of like not understanding what the other person is going through, or the context that they're operating in, or their boundaries. Not respecting those boundaries, not understand they exist and they need to be respected, things of that nature. And if that sort of understanding was cultivated, I think things would go a lot smoother. And I'm hoping from what I'm seeing that they are making that effort. But that kind of stuff went down. I'm dealing with some stuff at work, and even financially. I have some video topics I want to go over. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I don't know. I'm really, really tired. It was showing today at work that I was just that exhausted, because I got work done, but it was like not as efficient, not as effective, and it was there were times where admittedly I took some longer breaks, to put it lightly, and I kind of found it hard getting back into the lab and that sort of deal, but. I'm trying to hope that tonight I get enough sleep and I don't have sort of a repeat of that. But that being sort of an example of like, hey guys, how about you try and wrap your mind around what it's like for me working all these hours I have to work every day, and why I have to, and why I have the mentality that I have to. Why do I drive myself and push myself so much to do that kind of stuff? Why do I have this perspective that I've got on things that can seem very ruthless and admittedly perhaps kind of self-absorbed, again, like there's stuff I like to talk about, and probably another video to go way more in depth on that, but yeah. I've been sort of pivoting the corner financially, because I'm finally getting to a point where like I can see the end of the road in terms of like the whole debt situation, especially student loan debt. But as hopeful as it is, there's also like anxieties associated with that, because there's any number of factors. And maybe I'll finish up recording this video right now, and then I can upload that, and then I can just start recording the other stuff, because that stuff's way more present in my mind right now. But anyways, thanks for watching. It's been a long 20-minute video of me rambling. I think I'm at around like day 315, technically speaking, and I think my plans, honestly, let's just say I assume I get to day 365. I then want to work on getting to a year without any slip-ups period, and I'll have to create a strict definition of that, because I think that would honestly be taking things to the next level and really accomplishing sort of the goal of Nofap in general, like, where I'm not skirting the edge or trying to cheat on Nofap, or is this a relapse, or is this just a slip-up, is this a near relapse, can I do this? as long as I don't do X, Y, Z sort of thing, because, even if I don't have a, textbook definition of a relapse, or, don't binge or whatever, like, the effects are there, but it's like it's a matter of degrees, and I don't really even want that long term, but anyways, I'm gonna finish up now and I'll start recording the other videos, so see you then. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.